Well, we've made it to the main gate, and this is inside where you buy your tickets. I would strongly recommend that you get your tickets online. When you get here to the ticket office, there is a person sitting at a desk that will redeem your online ticket purchase, and there's maybe just one or two people in that line, where this other line was quite long. So we've just walked outside now. This is one of the gardens. But there are three main attractions here. There's the Art Museum, the Circus Museum, and lastly, the house. Hey, get out of there. John Ringling was heavily invested in oil, real estate, and railroads. He had other investments too. And he was the founder of the Bank of Sarasota. Well, this is the Art Museum, Ringling's Art Museum. And take a look around here. This is the entrance. That's where we parked out there. And way down that bridge, that's the entrance to the whole area. And there's three main attractions here. This is the Art Museum, the museum, and then the house. So we'll take those in order. But first, we're going to go in here to the Art Museum. Take a look at the arts. We could use some culture. John and his 5 brothers built the most successful circus in the world. And Ringling brought art and culture to Sarasota in the early 1900s. In 1907, the Ringling Brothers brought the Barnum and Bailey Circus in London. Ringling collected over 600 masterpieces of art in 5 years. His collection of Paul Gauguin's is thought to be the finest in the world. In 1924, he started building his house on 600 acres of land. However, in 1929, the stock market crash nearly wiped him out, and it was his art collection that saved him. As you can see, as you go from room to room, the lighting changes. Each room is decorated differently, different colors, and it's a challenge for the camera to keep up with the lighting conditions. I've done the best I could here, but it's still tough. The photos will give you a good idea of what you're in for, but the camera cannot do justice to the beautiful paintings, this artwork, the colors. As you can see here, room to room changes. And even though it was busy, it was not to the point where people were in your way. There's still a lot of, it's so big that there's just a lot of area. And so, as you can see here, it's not a problem at all. Each painting is labeled with a description of the artist, what the painting's about, when it was painted. You could spend hours reading each one. However, my memory's not that good anyway. So if I read every one of them, I couldn't remember what it was anyway. Now this one I read, well, I just came out of the art museum. That is down in this end here is the Japanese Oriental art. On this end, it's kind of contemporary. Here we have the gardens. Not sure you would call it a gardens. Very, very beautiful place. Beautiful buildings, statues. Now this building over here, more art, but I'm not exactly sure what it is. Well, this is the Oriental section of the art museum. A lot of Chinese art here. This is what an office would look like. Chinese office. This piece here I've shown because I believe it gives you a very good example of the workmanship of this artist. And this is not only great workmanship and artistic ability, but look at the patience. One wonders how many years it took to make that. The detail. This is back out in the gardens. This is the modern arts area. More contemporary. As you can see, his art collection was stunning, and I can't imagine what the value today of his collection would be. As you go through the many rooms, it is just amazing. It keeps going and going. Again, the cameras do not do it justice. You really need to see this in person. And you need to take your time. Read about the paintings. There's benches in every room, in the middle of the rooms, where you can sit down and look at these pictures from a little bit of a distance. And if you know what you're looking at, you can stare at them and never see it the same way twice. Look at the size of some of these. They're huge. It's tapestry there. Well, there's a restaurant. It's busy. Have to put your name in to get in there. Well, we're in the Circus Museum, and when you first walk in, there's this huge painting. It takes up a whole wall. And it's one of those, again, where you sit down and you stare at it and you keep finding new things that you haven't seen before. This room is all the posters. And I would imagine that this poster collection alone would bring millions of dollars. This is probably the best part of the Circus Museum as far as I'm concerned. This is the railroad that depicts the circus in its heyday. This was all created by one fellow, and I forget his name, I'm sorry. He created all of this. And when he created it, Ringling wouldn't allow him to use the name Ringling on his displays or his advertising. Later that changed, of course. This depicts a town, a large town, where the circus has come to town, and what it might look like. Cook tent. You had to cook for all the performers and the workers. Not only for that, but there were also the guests. A mess tent. And this circus would cover acres and acres and acres of land. This is where the performers get ready. Parking. An entranceway. You can see all the tents, the big tents, have different shows, and this one here is the entrance to the big show. And this is what it might have looked like. That one you tour all the animal cages and the animals, and now you're under the big top. Circus was brought into town by train, and then from the railroads to the area that the circus would be built up at, That's where the wagons, the horses, and so forth would transport everything. Now, Mr. Ringling, of course, traveled in his own car, railroad car. Tent for animals. This looks like horses here. Blacksmith shop. Now in the display area here, circus display area, I was a little disappointed. I don't see all the display items they used to have. This is a picture that I took years ago. These pictures, they're no longer there. These shoes belong to a friend of mine, Brad. These pictures I took years ago. They do have a display of the shop where some of the artwork is done, carvings and so forth. And this is Ringling's Pullman car. Here are the few wagons that are on display. Let's take a look at the Pullman car. This will be the kitchen area. Looks like a personal dining car. Bedroom. His personal bathroom. And this would be the living cart here. Not a bad way to travel. More posters. There's the cannon. Got me a ham and cheese. Well, sports fans, that'll do it for part one, the Ringling Museums. And next week we'll do part two. That would be the Kadizan house. That's Ringling's home. We'll give you a few facts about that as we go through it. So stay tuned next week. We'll see you. Have a good life, folks. Enjoy yourselves. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, hit that like button. Subscribe, doesn't cost you anything. You have a good week. See you next week.